Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the debut episode of Funky and the Gang. I'm Jim. With me is Tyler joining us today. He's been on our show a few times
Thanks.
already. So welcome, Pirates catching coach Jordan Comadena. Jordan, how are you today?
Great. Good morning. Yeah, happy opening day. Ready to go.
Happy opening day. We're recording this on opening day, bright and
Yep.
early. Uh, Jordan's in Miami, about to head over to the stadium here soon. Um, you'll be listening to this on Friday. This is when it's going to be released. So hopefully by the time you see this, the Buccos are 1-0.
Yeah, that's right. Very good.
All right. So again, just wanted to thank you for coming on. Um,
Mhm.
and it's an exciting time of year. It's an exciting time of year, opening day.
It is. You know, a lot of anticipation leads up to this day. It's a special day, right? I mean, regardless of outcome, opening day on its face is a very special day. Schulte addressed that yesterday with the group, as I think every manager around baseball does on a day like this, whether it's the day before or the day of. um, Acknowledging that today, opening day, is a very special day. Regardless of how many times you've been a part of it, certainly if it's your first one or if it's your ninth one, like mine, or anywhere in between, you just kind of take some time in the pregame and as introductions are going on and during the national anthem or the flyover, whatever, just all the stuff that goes into it, and just kind of reflect and think about where you're at and what you're doing and how grateful you are to be in the position that you're in. And you kind of think about where you were years ago when you dreamed about being a part of something like this, right? And you never take it for granted, because uh, opportunity can come and it can go as quickly, the same other direction. And it's special. So just understanding that you're a part of something that's bigger than you. A lot of people came before you, to kind of set the stage for where you're at now, and just all that stuff. Just taking it into account and providing some perspective, and then it's you put that aside, and then it's go time. So we're looking forward to it.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for betting on all the madness. Even if your bracket is busted, BetOnline has more ways to stay in the action with free Sweet 16 bracket and live betting on every remaining tournament game. With the largest selection of odds on everything from college basketball to MLB, NHL, and MMA, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every Cinderella story to every hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Yeah, definitely special. Your first opening day as catching coach here, and also another guy
It
opening
is.
first opening day,
Yeah.
Endy
Yeah.
Rodriguez. So
Yeah.
Endy makes the team. What
Yeah.
what put him over the top here?
Well, I think ultimately it was his ability to play some first base, was certainly intriguing. Something he's done in the past. Obviously, not something that he did much of this spring, but something that he does have some history of. He's got history of playing, multiple positions throughout his minor league career. And they like the offensive profile, from both sides of the plate. They like where he's at, from his swing, and believe he can help us, on both sides of the ball. So, and that couples with, Joey being our starting catcher, and really believing that offensively he's going to be an impactful component of our lineup, so, which I believe, wholeheartedly that he will be. The guy can really hit. He loves to hit. He loves to talk about hitting. He owns his approach. He's super strong. Great bat to ball profile. Like, has a plan. I mean, high level offensive mind. So, if that's our C1, great. He's going to hit. We believe he will. So it takes a little bit of the burden off of the C2. And then on top of that, he can play some other positions and help us in other ways as well. So I think that was just kind of the way it went.
Yeah, just a follow up on Endy there making the team. Definitely the versatility playing a factor. How have you seen his game grow just as not only a receiver but like a game manager over the course of the last
Yeah.
couple of years?
Yeah, and that's something that's going to continue to evolve over time, and something that we'll continue to put emphasis on in terms of his game calling and his preparation and just his familiarity with the staff. And it's going to be challenging, right? A young kid, new staff, didn't play all year last year, so really needs to truly familiarize himself with this entire staff. And there's some different arms with us, and certainly that he hadn't caught a whole lot before, whether it was through free agency or draft or whoever it might be that's on our major league staff now. So he's got to get up to speed with them, learning their stuff, learning about where their misses are, learning about just who they are as people in order to kind of deliver message to them. And then just familiarizing himself with the lineups that he's going to be navigating, right? I mean, we certainly put a lot of stock into just knowing our pitchers first, pitching to their strengths, understanding what they are capable of doing, and then sprinkling in some of the, where is a weakness, what can we exploit? That's kind of a bit secondary. We got to know what our pitcher is capable of doing before exploring any other options. So all that stuff is going to be something that he's going to continue to work on. He did a great job with it this spring. He's going to continue to prepare, and dive into things as a backup catcher would, to be prepared in the event that he's needed to go in there at any time. But then also, preparing himself defensively for the needs that he's going to have to face at first base as well. So it's sort of a unique challenge for him, as we move into the year. But a kid that is super competitive, thinks a lot of himself in a good way, knows what he's capable of doing and knows that he's capable of helping the major league club. So just continuing to help him along the way, and any way I can help streamline his day or provide assistance to him is really what I'm here for. And I don't have any doubt that Endy will be able to meet those demands.
That battle for the backup catcher was one of the more interesting, battles going on during spring training this year. Ultimately, Endy won that. Henry Davis, Jason DeLay, they head to Indianapolis. Talking about Henry just real quick, like what's the message to him? He's had a few chances at the majors, struggled at the plate a little bit, struggled behind the plate a little bit. What's like the message to Henry heading to Indianapolis? Say, hey, work on these things. You're obviously going to get your shot, but like what things are we working on, in AAA? What's kind of his focus there?
Well, I was super proud of Henry this spring. I thought he had a tremendous spring training. Did everything that was asked of him, and just really, I think we saw the best version that we've seen of Henry at any point. That defensively, he was really solid, really impactful all the way around. His arm is so fun to watch, and I thought that his throwing just in general was so much more under control and accurate, and just really good. Blocking has always been solid for him. That's just kind of a mentality. He eats those balls up in the dirt. He loves it. And then the receiving component, I thought he was outstanding. We did some things, and found some cues for him on his glove side part of the plate, down bottom rail to that kind of glove side edge. And just he did a really great job of being intentional with getting himself into favorable positions to catch the ball. Found some cues in terms of ideas and thoughts that he wants to think and feel through the catch to presentation. And just did a really nice job catching the ball, and was, I think we were really starting to see like his physicality and his strength that we all know that he possesses show up in a positive way behind the plate with his glove speed. His pocket awareness has gotten so much better, and just his strength and ability to just dominate the baseball back there. And really he's got pretty good feel for what he wants to do. Like it's just kind of all starting to come together for him. And I told him I was super proud of what he was able to do. Challenged him a little bit at the beginning of camp on some certain things, and I felt like he met those challenges. His work was intentional, was quality over quantity. I really believe that he continued to get better throughout camp. And it's tough, right? I mean, I want all these guys to succeed and to meet the challenges and the goals that they set for themselves for each individual year. But sometimes just the business aspect becomes into play, and things happen that maybe sometimes are out of your control. And you just have to keep going. How you face adversity is also part of this game, and just continue to stay ready, continue to stay engaged with the things that you've been working on, continue to keep trending upward. And when the opportunity presents itself, which is almost inevitable that it will at some point, you're going to be ready to meet those demands. And that was kind of my message for him moving out the door, because I really enjoy Henry. I really like the kid. We had a great spring together. I feel like we got really continued to grow our relationship both on and off the field. And so, I'm a Henry fan, of course, and I wish him all the best for himself personally in his career, and for us, as a group here in Pittsburgh. So I'll keep in touch with him, and I'm sure he'll be ready when the opportunity presents itself.
So let's jump over to, since it's opening day, the life of you crazy people who are catchers, and I consider you guys like goalies. You're all a little bit weird. You got to be a little bit weird to be a catcher.
Yeah.
So coming up here
everybody.
on opening day, right? So with today being opening day on this recording, what's the preparation like for today?
So yesterday we had a workout yesterday, and we knocked out some of the advanced meetings for the group with the pitchers that typically on a normal scenario the catcher would be a part of. Yesterday they were part of the hitting meeting. They were going on simultaneously, so it was more of a all-encompassing meeting with all the relievers, kind of going over some general broad ideas. So yesterday they were in there listening to the info on Alcantara for today, and the advance for the offensive side. But typically moving forward, like today, Joey will be a part of the pregame meeting. He'll have a meeting with Skeens and Oscar and the pitching group to go over today's game plan. That'll be part of it. So Joey, I texted him last night. He's probably heading in around when I'm heading in, 10 o'clock. Joey likes to get there early. He's a big guy. He likes to get himself moving, likes to make sure he's nice and loose and get himself stretched out. He's does a lot of body work throughout the day, stretching, and training room time, contrast tubs, all that stuff, just getting his body going. He'll like to hit, and he gets in the cage and does his routine, does that kind of thing. He'll have his time with the starting pitcher, go over that. And then that'll kind of lead up into the on-field stuff where we'll come out for BP. Then he'll go in, get freshened up, get something to eat, and then he'll be out about an hour before first pitch to the bullpen with me. We'll go through our pregame routine, get him loosened up, get his hands moving. Paul will be out. He'll go through his thing, and then it all kind of comes together where they meet on the mound and go. Paul will do his warm-up, and they'll head in, and it's go time. So, it's an extensive day. A lot of hours at the park. Joey likes to get there early, which is great. He'll probably have some last minute, maybe, just going through scouting reports, and, he'll be prepared for all of that stuff. But the Marlins were still finalizing their roster, as of maybe even this morning. We haven't gotten a lineup yet. So, they had a couple final spots that's similar to how we did, with just kind of, there's a position player, maybe an infielder, outfielder that might switch off of what we had originally seen. So he'll probably just double check all that, make sure the roster's set. Okay, this is the lineup. This is who's on the team. Making sure all the information's straight and all that, and then get ready to go. So
I think what's interesting there is, I think as fans, you kind of lose. You don't understand what all goes into the day, because you only see 3 hours. It's like, oh, well, these guys,
right,
and they're making millions of dollars. They only work 3 hours a day. But it sounds like, based off of just when Joey's going in, he's going over scouting reports. I mean, this is a 10-hour workday, right?
Yeah. I remember one of the first things that really stood out to me, back in 2016 when I started with the Pirates and really got the first behind the curtain look at Major League Baseball. on this side of things, and as a player, I mean, I played in the minor leagues and the player's schedule, and it is what it is. You get there and you do your thing, but like all the behind the scenes stuff that you really have no idea about, right? Until you're on that side of it. And then to see it at the big league level, it's amazing how much goes into each day, like of one major league game, all the departments, all of the moving pieces that are all simultaneously working to get everybody to 7 o'clock or 4:10 today. Like it's really unbelievable.
Yeah.
All the manpower and hours and work and just attention to detail on so many different levels, on so many different things that go into getting to that one game. And then the game goes, it's like the game's like the easiest part of the day. That's when the day finally slows down. It's like there's so much going on, there's so much information, there's so much just stuff, to navigate throughout the day. That it's like when you get to the game, it's like, whew, all right, game time. Here we go. Like it's time to, this is what we're here for, right? And so it's time to like
Yeah.
watch the baseball and lock it in and go. And then the day's done, and it's like tomorrow it starts all over again. And we're getting to it, Now day one of series is a little bit unique because there's some extra in there with advanced meetings and this and that, but like generally the same idea remains on every day. It's like there's a lot going on, that on all phases of the staff and everything, getting the players and everybody to the first pitch.
So you touched a little bit there on some of the scouting meetings, the advanced meetings, everything that you guys have to do to prep for a series or a game.
Yeah.
How much are you involved as the catching coach in those scouting meetings and the advanced meetings? Just how much time a day is spent in these meetings with catchers going over scouting reports?
Yeah. So, the first day of a series meeting with the relievers is a little more extensive, where they're kind of going through maybe 5 or 6 specific hitters that are like kind of the guys of note. Like these are the guys that we don't want beating us. These are, guys that are maybe running hot right now or whatever it might be, and like just to make them aware of those guys. We'll go over Rebello, we'll go over the CRG stuff. Like these are the guys that are most likely to run. Just to be of note, we obviously want to be as quick to the plate as we can all the time, but these are like the Marlins maybe have a few more than normal. They've got like 4 or 5 guys that you kind of need to be aware of. These guys look to run. So just being mindful of that. They'll go over all that stuff with the relievers. And then they'll go over just kind of the general scouting reports on all these guys, and all the pitchers will get kind of individualized attack plans based on where their stuff plays to these individual hitters with some notes. And our Bradley is great with all that stuff, putting that together, and Oscar. And then, from the catching standpoint, they're getting all that information as well. And then from the starter meetings, the starting pitcher that day and the catcher or catchers will be in there with those guys and just kind of going through, sharing notes, sharing information on how they want to attack. They'll look at the lineup, and this is kind of how this is plan A. And then it's kind of on the catcher to know, in the event that things aren't going, to plan, hey, how do we get to plan B? How do we get to plan C? And maybe eventually we can get back to plan A, just seeing how things shake out in terms of the stuff that the guys are featuring that night, what's available, what's working, what kind of feedback are we getting from the game. And so that's one of the biggest challenges, from the catching side, is just having all that readily available to know when to shift gears, and so being prepared and having a good sense of who your pitcher is, what he's capable of doing, what may or may not be available or working that day for that certain guy, and how to get him. If it's not working, how do we get it back into the mix? We can't just abort and, go totally off the wall. Like we might need to at times, but eventually we got to try to get something back. Right. And how do we get this guy through as much of the game as possible? That's always kind of the idea behind the catcher with the starting pitcher. Like, how do I use what he's got today to get him as deep into this game as possible? And then, so from my standpoint, I pull some information on We've talked a lot about depth this spring in terms of how far the catcher is from home plate in relation to the hitter. So pulling all the opposing hitters' swing lengths, and just kind of giving these guys an idea of where they can be in space. Some guys, league average is about 7.3 total swing length. So guys that are less, we always want to try to get as close as possible. But the guys that are above league average or beyond, just making note of that so they can kind of understand, hey, these are guys I might need to give a little bit more space to. These are guys I can get tight up in there and scoot up on. Also pull some information on early count, 0-0 swing percentage, or guys that are super passive, 0-0 that we can look to really scoot up, get up on top of home plate, steal strike one, and we can move back. Just like little stuff like that. Just some general information so they're aware. They can kind of play that cat and mouse game in the receiving side of things and continue to drive that emphasis of getting strike one, getting ahead, and always looking for opportunities to just keep our guys in the zone, hammer in the zone, fill it up, and give yourself, from a catching standpoint, the best opportunity to be in a position of strength to catch the ball and keep our guys going. So that's about it.
Gotcha. Again, thanks for hopping on with us today. Definitely an exciting time. We're excited for opening day. I know you are too. Yesterday in the Tribune Review, there was an article and Shelton's message was like, "Hey, it's time to win." So as we head into these 162 plus games, hopefully, what's your message to Pirates fans this year?
Yeah, you know what? Our starting pitching and it is going to be a driver for us, and as I told the catchers on our first day of camp in our meeting, I said, there's no better time to be a catcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I mean, think about you get to go to work each day and think about the rotation that you have an opportunity to work with, right? And just the stable of arms, whether they're here or in AAA that are probably going to be coming at some point. Some of these guys, whether it's starters or relievers, like we got some really fun arms to watch and to catch, man. It's like how pleasurable is your job to sit back there and push the buttons for some of these guys and some of the stuff that they're featuring. Like that's pretty cool. So think about that, and it's like there's never been a better time to be a catcher here in the big leagues with the Pirates. So that's going to be our driver. The pitching is going to be what drives the ship. They're going to give us a chance to win every single night. And, we just need to be scrappy in terms of offense, playing team offense. I think at times during the spring, it really showed up where, we put a huge emphasis on the situational side of the game, running the bases hard, playing team offense, when we have opportunities to score runs with men in scoring position and less than 2 outs, really looking to cash in on those opportunities. And then allowing the slug to show up, at times and just trying to move the ball forward, move the ball around, run the bases hard, and put pressure on people. I mean, just play good, solid, hard baseball. I mean, that's going to be something that we're going to look to do and do the little things right, win in the margins, and just play good, clean, winning baseball. That's the objective. If we are able to do that on an offensive side, and a defensive behind our pitching staff, it's going to give us a chance to win every night. We're going to be in good shape.
Love it. No, I mean you hit the nail on the head. It's an exciting time to be catching some of these guys. So, again, want to thank you for coming on. We'll have you on, periodically throughout the course of the year. So I'm excited for more chats with you. But best of luck on opening day. Best of luck on the season. All right, Jordan.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate you guys having me, and looking forward to first pitch, 4:10.
Yep, we're all ready. Thanks for hopping on, Jordan.
Yes, sir.
All right.
You got it.
See you guys.
Bet. See ya.
Scouts.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.